Hey, welcome. So today we're going to talk about the American Revolution, but we're not just going to rehash the battles and the dates you already know. We're going to dive into its incredible, lasting impact, the revolutionary ideas that are, believe it or not, still shaping our world.
The source material we're looking at makes this huge claim right from the start. The revolution reshaped history. That's a simple sentence, right? But the weight behind it is just enormous. It's basically drawing a line in the sand. There was a before, and then there was an after.
And that, of course, leads to the big question, the one we're here to answer. How? How did one conflict in one little corner of the world manage to change the entire path of global history? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
To get to that answer, we first have to understand the kind of change we're talking about. When we say history was reshaped, what does that actually look like?
Now, what's so fascinating here is that the revolution's real power wasn't just about winning on the battlefield. It was about the concepts it unleashed. It was a revolution of the mind. Think about it. The world back then was all about kings and queens and empires. Power was something you were born with, and regular people were just subjects. This was a radical, fundamental shift in how we think about government, power, and our own rights as individuals.
And right at the heart of that massive shift was one powerful, absolutely explosive idea. Let's get specific.
Liberty. This was the engine of the whole thing. It's defined here not just as some lofty principle, but as the revolutionary idea that spread across the entire world. The goal was never for it to be just an American thing. It was seen as a universal right for all of humanity.
So, who were the people giving voice to this idea? How did they manage to articulate it in a way that could just catch fire and spread like that? Well, that brings us to some of the key architects of this brand new way of thinking.
We're going to zero in on three key founders. And what's cool is that while they all championed liberty, each of them had a slightly different take on it, which together created this really powerful, complete vision of what it means to be free.
First up, you've got Benjamin Franklin, the world-traveling diplomat. He puts it in the biggest terms possible. Freedom is mankind's cause. See that? It's not an American cause. With that one little phrase, he makes the idea totally universal. It belongs to everyone, everywhere.
Then there's John Adams, the fiery lawyer who'd become president. His take is so short, but man, is it powerful. Liberty lives. He's not talking about it like it's a concept in a book. He's describing it as a living, breathing force. It suggests this incredible resilience, that it's something that keeps going, even when things get tough.
And finally, Thomas Jefferson, the idealist, gives us this very famous and, frankly, intense metaphor. He says liberty is like a tree that must be refreshed. What he's saying is that freedom isn't something you win once and then put on a shelf. No way. It needs constant care, constant attention, and yeah, even sacrifice, just to keep it alive.
When you see all three of them together like this, it really clicks, doesn't it? They fit together perfectly. Franklin gives liberty its scope. It's for everyone. Adams gives it its nature. It's alive. And Jefferson gives it its cost. It needs constant effort. It's just a brilliant look at how one core idea can be seen through these different but equally essential lenses.
Okay, so we have the idea, and we have the powerful words that brought it to life. So what happened next? How do these words actually go on to reshape history like we talked about at the very beginning?
Well, the crucial thing to get is that these ideas were more than just words on a page. They acted like seeds. They were carried on the wind, across oceans, and they started to grow in other places, inspiring other movements for independence and democracy everywhere from France to Latin America. The American Revolution basically gave the world a blueprint and proved that, hey, this can actually be done.
So let's just pull this all together. What are the big takeaways? First, the revolution's #1 legacy was spreading the idea of liberty all over the globe. Second, that idea was given its power by the words of its key figures. And third, because we're still debating and fighting for these ideas, the revolution is actually continuing to reshape history, even now.
And that's really the heart of it all. This wasn't just some historical event that's over and done with. It was the start of a global conversation about freedom and self-government, a conversation that we are all still having. You can still hear that echo today, loud and clear.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought, kind of turning Jefferson's words back on ourselves. If liberty really is a tree that needs to be refreshed to survive, what does that refreshment look like for us, right now, in our time? What does that mean for our world today? It's a question worth thinking about.